Welcome everybody from me to you. This is Amanda again, and this is week 3 of my web updates. Now last week we talked exactly about what ghost hunting is, and we compared it to deer hunting. Then we asked you to go to our forums page up top and for you to tell us what you compare ghost hunting to. Now I know that this whole schooling part can get a little boring and a little tedious, so I figured this week we take a step back and we do something a little more fun. Now, what is the most fun part about school? The field trips, of course. Today we are on the way to a very special location. This place is very dear to my heart for several reasons, mostly because it is a local legend of my hometown, Williamson, North Carolina. And it also happens to be the very first location that I conducted an investigation. So, this video is going to be a little long, that's why it took me so long to get these updated, and I apologize for that. But, be prepared for some fun. And we have arrived at our location. Now, those of you who live in Martin County or are familiar with Martin County may already have guessed where we are. That's right, this is the Screaming Bridge of Sweetwater Creek. Now, for those of you who do not know the story, we'll elaborate a bit. This story took place in the 1860s. It was said that a young girl, last name Yarl, no one knew her first name, was betrothed to be married to a soldier who was drawn off to war. She would come and sit down by the bridge on the edge of her father's land every day on a cypress stump. She would sit there and wait for her lover to come home. One day, however, she never returned, so her family sent out a search party and they found the unspeakable. The young girl was face down in the water, dead. Now, several years later, a man reported crossing the bridge and saw a young beautiful woman sitting by its edge. As he crossed, he heard a horrific scream, and as he turned, the woman was gone. Could not find her in the water or on her land. He ran home, told his wife what had happened, and several days later he was dead. So the legend goes that if you cross the Screaming Bridge and hear the scream, you too will shortly die. No one ever found out what happened to the girl. Was she murdered by some angry suitor that she could never love? Did she commit suicide because she thought she would never see her betrothed again? Or perhaps it was an accident. Maybe the delicate fabric of her dress was caught in the roots and she was dragged under. It doesn't really matter what happened to the girl. It's just a legend. But maybe one day someone will know. Now we are going to go exploring a little bit, and I hope that the water isn't high up enough that we can't get too far. And I also hope that I don't break my neck coming down here. But we shall see how far we can get. Now, the reason I'm coming down here is because, as you can see, this bridge is modern made. It was not built during there's a snake right there, just while I was looking. It was not built back during the Civil War times. So, we are going to try and find the bridge that was built then. Alright, well, I made it. We're about 50 yards from the standing bridge, the concrete one that is now standing. Had to do a little tracking, and you know, you have to kind of watch your step out here. But guess what I found? This is the remnants of an old bridge. And if you look across the water, you may not be able to see it very well,
is the other side where the bridge connected. Also, a few feet from it is this, an old cypress stump that is mentioned in the story. Now, can we conclude that this is the exact stump, or can we conclude that this story is true? No, we cannot. But it does give us some really good evidence to support the story. Well, everyone, I made it out alive. I'm back home. I hope y'all had fun on our little field trip. Now, to give just a little more history, I have spent years researching the Screaming Bridge. We have finally tracked it down to possibly what the girl's name was. Her name was either Mary or Nancy, and we say this because there was 2 young girls in that time period named Mary, and there was one named Nancy, both of them marrying in age, and suddenly they were stricken from the census. Now, this only happens on one of 2 occasions. If the girl is married and then placed on with a different last name, or if the girl died. Now, reports show that several years ago, 2 hunters were hunting in that area, and they heard a horrible scream. It sounded like a woman in dire need. So, they looked around and found a large bird. And from this bird, it was making the noise that sounded like a woman screaming. Reportedly, they shot the bird, and no one ever heard screams from that area again. Now, could it be that the bird was emitting its own natural sounds that sounded like a woman screaming? Or was it a bird mocking the noises it heard from the spirit of Sweetwater Creek? We will never know. But I hope y'all had fun on this little field trip of ours, and I again apologize this update was so late, but I will definitely have this week's update on Friday, so come back and check it out. Go to our contact me button and send us your questions. We'll put on our Q&A page. Also, I want you to go up top to the forums page, and this is your week's homework. Tell us one of your local ghost stories in your hometown. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we shall see you Friday. Bye.